better than this.
That was Joel Salatin, the Christian, libertarian, environmentalist, lunatic farmer of Polyface Farms. Joel comes from a long line of innovators and farmers who care about the planet. It all began with his great-grandfather, Happy Smith, who was a successful livestock farmer. Joel's grandfather, Frederick Salatin, also took on an involved role in farming by creating the first walking garden sprinkler and was a charter subscriber to Rodale's Organic Gardening and Farming magazine. In his book, You Can Farm, Joel reminisces about visiting his grandpa's garden, recalling the lush fruits and intricate garden pathways. According to Joel, it was perfect. William, Joel's father, held a bachelor's degree in economics. He and Joel's mother, Lucille, moved their family to a little run-down farm in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. William was concerned with conservation and began restoring the soil quality of their land, planting trees, and developing innovative land management practices. Lucille and William always lived below their means, turning away from farming at times to pay the bills. They fostered entrepreneurism in their children, and by the time Joel was 10, he was thinking of ways to raise chickens and sell his products at the local curb market at competitive prices. Joel left for college and decided that he wanted to become a journalist. After college, he returned to the family farm with his wife Teresa, putting all he could into the farm, and slowly took on these responsibilities full-time. Salatin wrote for the agricultural section of the local paper to help make ends meet. For a while, times were tight for the young Salatin family. Joel learned all he could about farm practices by sitting through government-sponsored information meetings, seminars, and field days. His work with the newspaper gave him behind-the-scenes access to the agriculture community and farmers, letting him see the ugly underbelly of the agriculture industry with unhealthy animals, empty bank accounts, and ill-fated farmers. All of this drove Joel to do things differently, sacrificing some of the more material needs to live wholesomely. Joel currently resides on his own 550-acre farm in Swope, Virginia. He has published 9 books and speaks regularly at universities, public forums, and on his farm about his sustainable farming practices at Polyface.
When I say grass, most people associate that word in its first sense with lawns, and yet that is a paltry, uninformed notion of grass. Artificially planted and maintained 2-inch turf grass is a far cry from the grass I'm talking about. I'm talking about native prairies and Little House on the Prairie, where Ma and Pa Ingalls feared Laura would become lost if she went out of the house. The University of Nebraska still maintains an acre or two of this grass in Lincoln. It's tall, with stems more than half an inch thick. The first Europeans into Virginia's Shenandoah Valley wrote letters home describing grasses that could be tied in a knot above the horse's saddle. When I say pasture, do you think of it as a glorified lawn? Imagine grass as high as your head and so thick you can scarcely walk through it. That's grass. The point I'm making here is that as a culture, our references even to fundamental farming concepts stem from an urbanized mentality. Rather than viewing lawn as a downsized, unnatural, high-maintenance pasture, we view pasture as an upsized, high-maintenance lawn to be doted over, a money drain. To have a discussion about normal living, normal ecology, all my listeners need to understand how ignorant we've become as a culture. With our frame of reference skewed, our perceptions about farming and our notions of what is environmentally enhancing or not, we approach farming with prejudicial brain damage.
Polyface is an innovative farm that is leading the way in slow, sustainable, local food. It is considered primarily a grass farm because grass, the basis of the ecosystem, is what sustains the polyculture of critters that come from this wonderfully alternative farm. What makes Polyface different from other farms is its commitment to values. Joel and his volunteers are committed to healing the land, the food, the economy, and the community. At Polyface, They pride themselves on moving their cows from one acre to the next every day, allowing all of the animals to express their true nature. By moving these cows so frequently, it increases carbon sequestration and biomass production, which reduces the amount of carbon in the atmosphere. The animals' immunities are built and strengthened through the beneficial biodiversity present at polyface farms, and not by chemical additives, hormones, or antibiotics. Polyface does not participate in any government programs, and Joel is considered a bioterrorist by the defenders of the industrial food system. This is because Polyface does not vaccinate, medicate, acidulate, eradicate, adulterate, or confiscate its animals. These defenders claim that the animals on the farm threaten all of their neighbors' livestock with diseases, and by extension, the entire planet's food supply. Joel believes in promoting a balanced farm.
What a difference this is to be out here in the fresh air, sunshine, birds singing in the trees, you know. But you see, according to the USDA, this is unsanitary because it's open to the air. They tried to close us down. It's one of the biggest showdowns we had with them was when they tried to close us down because this was unsanitary.
In Folks, This Ain't Normal, Joel proclaims, at Polyface, our animals are in balance. We can't have more chickens producing eggs than we have cows to mow ahead of the eggmobiles. Everything needs to come up together to leverage the gifts and talents of each. This intricate symbiosis only works if it stays in balance. The eggmobile is just one example of what a great innovator Joel is and how he uses minimalistic and holistic practices on polyface farms.
These are the eggmobiles, 2 portable hen houses, 12 feet by 20 feet, hooked together like a train. We move these birds every day to a fresh spot behind the cows. So the cows are in, they drop their manure, which becomes an incubator for pathogens and parasites. So the chickens, the birds, follow the cows in the rotation, just like birds in nature, like the egret on the rhino's nose. It's a symbiotic relationship. The birds sanitize behind the herbivores. So while everybody else is spending thousands of dollars shooting their cows up with grubicides and wormers and systemic parasiticides that make the meat so bad it kills all the bugs, we just collect thousands of dollars worth of eggs as a byproduct of the pasture sanitation program. What's beautiful about this is that we can show how we can make taking care of our environment and the ecological principles make economic sense. And that's always been my contention, that the best ecology is always also the best economics.
Everything Polyface does is local. This is artisanry at its finest, because they are supporting the local community and economy. By shortening the distance between food and fork, Polyface provides the community with an opportunity to experience the beauty of nature, gives them a reason to care about our planet, and provides us with a shining example of how to adhere to your moral compass. Our Polyface customers can visit our farm. They can see the cows in the field, the chickens on the pasture, and the pigs in the woods. When the food for a community is transparent, measurable, and nearby, the sense of abundance is palpable. Joel Salatin, Folks, This Ain't Normal.
Do you know that just as recently as like 30 years ago, when we started selling these pastured chickens, you couldn't go to a supermarket and buy a boneless, skinless breast. If you had a recipe that had boneless, skinless breast, you had to go get a chicken and a knife. Imagine that, a knife and a cut, and you had to dissect that bird. Imagine that. You had to separate that thing, and then you took the other pieces and you put them in for stock and all that, all right? Today, 50% of our customers don't even know a chicken has bones. I mean, they think these boneless, skinless breasts are just out here, you know. It's like we go out and pick them like cherries off a tree, you know. And we've got to explain to people, ma'am, do you understand that chicken nuggets in the shape of Dino's the dinosaur is not a muscle group on a chicken? We have this voice in the back of our head, you know, probably grandma, some matriarch, you know, saying, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing. Right. Yeah, well, okay. You know what? She's wrong. The truth is, if it's worth doing poorly first. we're coming up on Thanksgiving next week. See my turkey tie? Okay. Coming up on Thanksgiving. All right. Next week, you're going to be with the whole family, right? I mean, crazy Uncle John and the whole, okay. All right. So you're going to be there, and there's going to be the newest little addition to the family, little Janie, maybe 7 months, right? She's crawling around on the floor, and everybody's talking, all the adults. And Janie comes up here to the chair. She gets a hold of it. She pulls herself up, and she totters. She looks around terrified, Suddenly, probably her mother sees her, and she says, look, Janie's starting to walk. Look, it's the first time she's fully, all eyes fixed on Janie, and they all go nuts. She realizes she's the center of attention. She smiles real big, and suddenly she loses her focus and her grip, and she falls plop down in her diaper. Now, what does everybody do? No, they don't. They come around and they say, well, Janie, if you can't walk any better than that, just quit. No, we get, Janie, try again. Get up here and walk. But what happens is, as we become adults, we have this voice, if it's worth doing right. And it's stigmatizing. It makes us timid about trying something new lest we fail. And so what I want you to do is go away tonight. I want you to think about when this seems daunting and, oh no, I don't know if I can go to farmers market. I don't know. I might go to a farm. I've never been to a farm. I don't know what's going on a farm. If all this sounds intimidating, all right, look in the mirror, hike up your diaper and say, if it's worth doing poorly first. Because that's the way innovation happens. That's the way progress happens. It is that disturbance of plopping on the diaper that incentivizes and creates the opportunity for the next innovative thing.
Joel's work as a leader is exemplary of a citizen leader, a leader who has a deep sense of responsibility to society and takes issues with political, economic, and social systems when they fail to meet the needs of the people they serve. Joel has been working all his life to provide a better way for his family and those around him to eat more eco-friendly and holistic food. While he did not originally set out to change the world, he realized the multitude of problems with industrial farming and felt morally obligated to publicize these problems and spread his innovative vision. Environmental activist Michael Pollan helped give Joel his stage by visiting Polyface after Joel refused to ship him one of his chickens. Michael then spoke about Polyface in the New York Times bestseller, The Omnivore's Dilemma, reassuring Polyface's foothold in the public sphere. Joel may also be considered an authentic leader because of his strong belief system. His moral compass guides his leadership, not incentives or status. This type of leadership is transparent to followers, which builds legitimate trust. Thus, authentic leadership naturally promotes ethical actions and progress. Joel's farming methods are based on ethically sound practices, and his actions benefit the economy without harming the environment. He believes in the ethical treatment of animals, the earth, and our bodies. Joel holds a strong stance on an individual's responsibility to heal the land and to preserve and respect the pigness of the pig and the cowness of the cow. Joel may be a lunatic farmer to some, but to the patrons of his farm, he's trustworthy, charismatic, honest, and man is his food good. As long as the sun keeps rising, Joel and his family will continue to run their farm the Salatin way. They will continue to educate all who stop to listen and will always make it home for dinner.
Now may all your carrots grow long and straight. May tomato blight infect somebody else's tomatoes. May the radishes be large and not pithy. May all of your culinary experiments be delectably palatable. May the rain fall gently on your fields, the wind be always at your back, and your children rise up and call you blessed, and may we all make this a better world than we inherited. Thank you so much for letting me visit with you.